Hi, just a quick rundown on the two indicators that we've put up out of our 7 indicators for people to trial them for free. Um, some of our other indicators I consider better and I trade with them, but these are pretty strong. We've also given you the choice of 4 different tickers that you can use to trade with. Now, these are ticker specific, but you can generally say that the market moves pretty much the same. Even BTC will move the same. So we've given you an index, being the NDX. We've given you the SPY ETF. We've given you the IWM ETF, and then in the crypto market, we've tried to pick the what we think is the best of them that relates to the market the most evenly, and it is the capital.com. It seems to have the best collation of volume and of data and price movement and of time that any of the Bitcoins do. Now, look, you will very quickly, I'll just tell you that green is buying and red is selling. So you might say that, well, what's happening here? The price is going up and there's a lot of selling. That could be for all sorts of reasons, but it's probably got something to do with the timescale you're looking at. And we can see that we had some very strong accumulation through Friday and Saturday, and then we had very strong accumulation through Sunday. And even though we've had some selling into this rise, it's just not strong enough to slow it down. You really need to have selling, big, long, flat selling periods for longer to slow down the amount of buying that we've had. You've also got to realize that Bitcoin is a vol off. It's a vol and delta layoff for institutions. That's what they use it for. They use it for their own wealth creation, not necessarily for our wealth creation. Let's quickly go back to the others. We've put that one there as an instance. You really need to listen to me on Discord. I do an hour from 3 p.m. live every day, and then I'm quite often online going through my analysis in the evening. If you want to watch it, I live in Australia, so I have a strange accent and I keep strange hours. But I work within data in the American market. We have a lot of products. We do a lot of work on options, and so we're having a look a lot at what options are doing. We have a look at a lot of short selling in the market, but this is specifically our liquidity product. Now, if we just go back and we have a quick look, here we go at the SPY. Please make use of the videos we produce regularly. Please make use of the free Discord if you want to join it. It's free at the moment. That might change, but we're trying to get people to use these products and learn more about the market and make themselves into better traders, not into just people who are relying on other people to tip them off. Trading as opposed to investing or swing trading on short periods of time, you really need to have information, your own information, and not be relying on what other people are saying. So let's just have a look. I look at the market when I'm looking at it quickly. I look at it in 15-minute periods. I can see here that we've had some really good buying in the SPY. If I look into the close, we had a strong look into the close. This is telling me straight away that I'm lying because I can see it's not the liquidity that I'm looking for. I'm just talking about what I knew was happening last week. So if we go and have a look, we can see we've had buying into the close and buying into the close. Here we've had a day where we've had selling all day and the price has dropped. Yeah, there was a tiny bit of buying into the close. But if we looked at it really close, we'll see that it wasn't really buying into the close. We can see that right at the last minute, we started to see the price come up. Let's have a look. It's not even appearing in the 2 minutes. We can see through this period here, through the end of the day, we started to see some layoff coming, and there was this little bit of price buying. What happened with that is, if I just reset the chart, is that we've seen that the price has really pulled up. That auction has really pulled that price back up into this high volume node, which is hanging around here around the 660 mark. We can see quite quickly here we've had another strong buy into the close, and that price has popped back up into the day. Now I can have a look that we had a very strong buying into the close. I also know what the option positioning was over the weekend, and it had turned quite bull. Now, if I have a look at the post and pre-market, I can see that we've opened up quite well in the SPY. Now, red is selling, green is buying. In this time-layered liquidity, The fattest line is the moving average of the 8 closest periods and how tight the buying is compared to you have to make a comparison. So it's a comparison to the 8 closest periods. That goes through to the thinnest line that you might be able to see here. The thinnest line is looking at the 8 comparisons compared to 500 normalized periods. And so if we go into the 500 normalized periods and we look at them, that thinnest line is looking back 500 periods. So this selling is taking a long time to wash out. It's washing out, and there's buying going on between, and that washing out hasn't worked well enough for that price to drop, to stay going sideways. It's dropped because there's been that much selling pressure going on. That has got to do with option positioning and delta hedging, where we have now bottomed out and that positioning has changed. We've had hedging taken off, we've had buying happening, and off we go into a rising market. Let's just have a quick look at the other indicators, the other tickers we've got. We can have a look here at the NDX. The NDX is going to work on other lit markets, so ones that are open during the NDX, which have similar stocks within them. So you can look at the NDX, which is the index. You could also look at the Qs, which is the ETF. They're going to look exactly the same. And again, we saw this strong buying into the close, and as you can see, the market's opened up. Here again, we see this selling that's gone through the market, and if we have a look at the NDX, that's not going to be any different. But we've had these bump ups during the day. That selling has dragged through, and we have not managed to keep that price flat. Where here we can see that these other lines aren't staying up high; they're dropping down into this selling, and that selling has been very strong. And so we've got this price going up. The next one we've got there is the IWM. The IWM I don't find as easy to trade, even if you're using its futures. I don't find it as easy to trade. There's just so many tickers within the IWM that it is a hard one to watch. But again, we can see we've had reasonably strong buying into the close, and we have opened up. If we had a look, and always start a period out, if we have a look, we can see that we've had a really strong buying period recently because of rates changes. We've rarely had long flat periods of selling. We've just come through a flat period of selling, and we've had no price discovery going north. We had a strong bit of buying before that when it sounded like rates over FOMAC were going to be good. We can see another very strong buying period here. These long flat periods, they tell me I've got considerable selling. These spikes, that is just reactive. So the long flat periods like this is causal. It will cause the price to drop rather than it is a reaction from the price dropping. These long flat periods of buying will cause the price to rise. So we know that we've got some good buying coming up. Liquidity sentiment, it measures how tight the market is now and how people are holding their positions. We can see that during this period here, it was pretty loose and people weren't holding their positions. People were letting go of those positions. They were trading in other places. There was very little price discovery during that period. Liquidity sentiment gives you a relative period of how tight and how loose liquidity is over a longer period of time. The shorter the period of the time that we look at, the better the data is for the price movement at that time. We can see here that we've had quite a lot of buying periods. We can see we've had a flat selling period, then we've had a little bit of down. And this is just Friday's trading. We can see that basically we've had good buying the whole way into the close, and that has resulted in us seeing a price up. As I stated at the start, the crypto that we're using is the best of the cryptos. I can say that Coinbase can be better. They seem to know more people in the government who are in the know. But because there are so many indexes for buyers within crypto to hide their transactions, they go and hide their transactions everywhere. There isn't an over-the-counter market like we have with the OTC markets, which people call the dark pools. Maybe there are dark pools, but I don't know about them in Bitcoin. They're definitely not something that's regulated by someone like the Securities Commission and FINRA. So Bitcoin is a harder fish to trade. Firstly, it's an index, so there's more vol being laid off. You've really got to get our other indicators and start looking at the lit markets, say BITO, IBIT, Grayscale, the way that Mustern and and MusterX might MicroStrategy might pull or ride the market, and then you can trade any of these instruments, any instrument that you can find in apart from an index that doesn't have any trading happening in it. Any of these you can use all of our 7 different indicators on. Some of our indicators group together all sorts of different uh, pieces of information. So if I wanted to go into a grouped one, I might want to go into a multi-ticker irregular, and in a multi-ticker irregular, I might want to look at crypto. I might want to look at the lit cryptos. So if I came down here, I could pull down, I could go just into the lit ones, and it's going to give me the relative. It's a very messy one to pick out as an example. Why don't I pick out the mag? The mag's a much cleaner one. If I went in and I picked up the SPX, or the SPY, because we know the SPY is the same as the SPX, it's an ETF. And then I say looked at the last 15 minutes, I will see some good relevance here. So I can see that we've had strong buying in the mag, in the irregular liquidity, and I can see that we've had pretty much the same in the SPY over that. Oh, this one looks incorrect to me. Still in Bitcoin. You can tell that I look at them so much that I roughly know where my liquidity is hanging out. Oh, let me just have a look at where I've got this one. I've still got it in Bitcoin. I'm going to move it over to the SPY, and then I'm going to reset so we have a better idea of price movement. So here we can see we've got buying, we've got buying, we've got price up, we've got buying here in the mag, and we've got price up. If I look quickly out, I can see that just giving you a taster here, I can see that I've got selling within the mag. Here I can see I've got buying within the mag. That's a very good idea. It's a very good leading indicator to say we're going to have price up. Anyway, thanks for listening to my long introduction there. I hope you enjoy our preview liquidity indicators, and they bring you along and get you to listen to the Discord and the other services that we supply. At the moment, we've got them. We're just showcasing them to everyone. Come along and ask some questions, or DM me, or get hold of me on Twitter. Anyway, thanks for listening. Have a good week's trading. It's the 29th of September.